Hello, my friends. This is Becky. Welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about my good midlife crisis, where I am journeying through my 40s, working very hard to get my poop in a group. In order to do this, I have been working on my financial, my physical, and my mental health. And today's video is going to be a financial health check-in. Today, I am going to be closing out my May 2023 budget, and I am going to be doing that in the Budget by Paycheck book by the Budget Mom. I do this, I do set up and close out my weekly budgets with manually in a paper tracker, even though I track all of my spending in YNAB, and I do it both ways because it just helps to keep me accountable. I use the paper tracker, the paper planner to set up my plan, and then I close it out to make sure that my next week is going to be accurate. But then I actually use YNAB as kind of like my cash stuffing way of doing it. I digitally cash stuff. I don't do physical cash. So that is how I do my budgets. If you're interested and this is new to you, I have a couple of playlists that I will link below that you can check out. And if you find those interesting or helpful, I hope that you consider subscribing and coming along with me. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming back and sticking with me, and I love you so much. May was an interesting month the way I had it set up for paychecks. So, when we get into the week by week budget, it'll be a little bit weird, so bear with me, because I ended up paying like my rent twice out of this check, and like all of my beginning of the month bills. Like I paid my May bills out of in May, and then I also paid my June bills in May. So when we close it out and I compare it to April, it's going to look like I spent a lot of money, but it's also going to look like I had a lot more income in April than in May because of the way it worked out, just the way I had my month set up. But it's okay. So the way I normally start these is I start on my calendar page first to show off these beautiful stickers. These stickers are from Jennifer Bleacher over at Life in Envelopes, and I will link... Sorry, there's somebody on a motorcycle zooming around my neighborhood, thinking he's super cool. Anyway, I will link her Etsy shop below. She does stickers. There are so many good stickers on Etsy, y'all, if you're into paper planning and paper budgeting. I just really like hers, and so I will link them below. I do track my spending on here because she does, honestly. That's why I do it. But I don't have a separate color for each category like she does. So these colors don't mean anything. They just correspond with the stickers, with the color of the month. And then I had set up some goals. So my goal for my physical health, because as I mentioned, I am on 3 journeys. In my 40s. I'm 42. I'll be 43 next month, y'all. But for right now, I'm still 42, so I'm going to hang on to that. I wanted to end this month at or below 265 pounds. I don't know what happened with my weight this month, but I just like plateaued. I lost 0.4 pounds overall this month, and you know what? It's still down. I didn't gain anything. I'm going to be okay with it. I did skip a week of going to the gym, but I did not hit that goal. So I started the month at 269 and I ended the month at 268.6, and I just realized that says 668.6. I'm not 668 pounds. I'm only 268 pounds, and I find that plenty for me, so I don't want to make myself bigger. So I started at 269.0 and I ended at 268.6, so it's only 0.4 pounds down. Totally fine. I still feel good. The scale just isn't reflecting it, so I'm okay. And I do post health check-ins on almost every Saturday. Most Saturdays I post those health check-ins. I did skip this week just because I took that week off from doing anything. But anyway, I had a pretty spendy month, I feel like, but then I ended up with 10 no spend days, so I'm good with that. I don't know how I did it, and I hit most of my physical goals for going to the gym, except for, like I said, I did take this 1 week off. I had my friend Kay's birthday celebration on the 16th, and we went downtown, and I indulged a lot, and so I just didn't feel like doing my weigh in that the next morning, and I just gave myself that week off just to rest. my financial goals, even though I did have a spendy month, I did hit my 10 no spend day goal, which is always my goal, even though I don't write it down. I always want to hit 10 no spend days, and I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've ever really done that. So I'm proud of me for that. And my goal was to get my SavorOne card to below $700. This is the card that I have all of my cruise expenses on. If you've been around for a little bit, you know that I went on a cruise a few months ago, and I started charging this back at the end of last year. I had a no interest card, the SavorOne by Capital One, and everything that I put on this card, which was mostly my cruise expenses, and then I had filled my mom's propane tank a couple of times. This was charged up, but I have until the middle of August to pay it off before the interest accrues. I wanted to get it below $700 by the end of May, and I did hit that goal. So yay for that one. So I did not reach my physical health goal, but I did reach my financial health goal. So I am good with that. I did receive 2 paychecks, but when we get into the actual budget breakdown, you will see that I included a 3rd paycheck on this because the last week of April, I started this budget the final week of April. So it's going to look weird. And that is overall how my month of May looks on a calendar. Let's go ahead and get into the first week, and we will go through it and see how I did for my budget to what I budgeted versus what I actually ended up spending. Okay, so as I mentioned, week 1 for me actually started in April. So I started the 28th of April, which was the last Friday in April. So April 28th through May 4th was the first week of May for me. I rolled over, I was anticipating a rollover of $450. I actually rolled over $451.17. So what? My paycheck was exactly what I anticipated it to be because I am salaried, so it always is, except for like this week it was 1 cent more for some reason. And then I did get $1.11 of cash back for my PayPal card. So I had a whopping $2.28 more in my budget than I was anticipating. That gave me an actual budget of $2,125.71 to work with this week. And it really is a 2-week plan. I am paid bi-weekly, but I budget weekly. So this money really needs to last me for 2 weeks, but I just plan it out weekly. And I will show you why in just a moment if you're not familiar with my channel. So the bills that I had to cover out of this week were my rent, which I budget $700. My rent is actually, we'll get to that, my rent at the end of this budget, but at the time of this week's budget, my rent was $600. And I always budget $700 just because my landlord/friend, Nathan, he pays some bills and I pay some bills, and I normally end up owing him around $100 more than the total cost of my rent by the time everything is put in. So I normally budget $700 for rent. I actually ended up owing $631.80. Best Buy was a credit card that I had. I did pay it off this month, so yay. But I had to pay $130 out of this week to get that paid off. This was another interest-free one that I did to pay for my laptop that I bought last year. It was 12 months no interest financing, and I did that to buy my laptop. My mom's car insurance, I do pay for a couple of bills for my mom, so you will see that as we go through. That's my mom's car insurance. It's $96.67. And then this is my car insurance. It is $245.74. This is for 2 cars. So I have my car that I drive, and then I have a car that I had financed for my niece because my niece was a dependent of mine for a few years. When my niece moved out and could no longer afford this car, a church friend of mine took over payments because he was very nice to me. He needed a car at the same time I had a car I could not afford, so he is making payments on this car. He pays me every month for it. You will see that accounted for in one of my week's budget. He pays me for the car payment and for his part of the car insurance, so this does cover that, both of those cars. So that's what that is. My actual bill total was $1,104.21 for this week, leaving me $1,021.50 to pull down into my envelopes. My envelopes are this is what would be if I did cash, which I do not do cash because I am very bad with cash. But if I did cash, this is what would go into my wallet that I carried around with me throughout the week to spend on things. So my groceries, my dining out, my miscellaneous, whatever that would be. If you're used to watching Cash Budgeters, that's what this section would be. And this section is why I decided to start budgeting weekly, even though I am paid bi-weekly, because I was putting my money into this section here and then spending it all in the first couple of days and having to go 2 weeks without any money. And yes, it's my fault, but I can control that by just giving it to myself weekly. So I started separating this out to a weekly budget. So this is the reason that I do a weekly budget. So every week I give myself $50 for dining out, $75 for groceries, which I ended up going slightly over and giving myself $76, $10 toward fun. This is for whatever, for me, whatever I decide to do. Sometimes it is going to the Renaissance Fair, and sometimes it is going to a movie, and sometimes it is going to a museum. It's whatever I want to do that is just fun. Ecclesial expenses, this is my church donation. The $60 that I budget every week is $40 for the donation and $20 to go to a meal afterwards. This was a very long time ago, and I can't remember why I didn't end up putting anything in, but it was probably because I can't remember if this is the week that we didn't have the room or if this is the week that they credited us because they had double booked the room. I think that might have been the month before. Anyway, for whatever reason, I didn't put anything in this week. But if I didn't put anything in, that is because we weren't in person, and that's why. So I don't know why I didn't put anything in. I don't remember that long ago, but barely remember yesterday. Every week I put $25, every paycheck week I put $25 toward my self-care fund. That is for, I let that sit and build up, and I use that for doing things like getting pedicures or getting a massage or going, buying a perfume or doing something fun for myself for self-care. Sometimes I just go randomly to H-E-B and buy myself some flowers because I like flowers. Gas is for my car. Every paycheck week I put $50 into this for gas. Pet expenses, this is a once a month fund. This is for dog food, cat food. I have 2 dogs and a cat. Dog food, cat food, toys, anything that comes up through the month. And the way I work this is at the end of the month, anything that's left, I move into a pet emergency fund to build up that for like pet vet visits and things like that. Household is for things like paper towels, toilet paper, miscellaneous items like that. That is a once a month fund. Budgeting is for things like buying my stickers and buying pens and things related to budgeting. And gifts and giving is things for gifts and giving. That's what that's for buying things for other people. This is not for like Christmas. This is like specifically for throughout the month, buying things for people, birthdays and whatnot. And I did go over. That will be a theme in May. I went very, very over in gifts in May, and you will see that at the end. So I budgeted $100, and in the first week, I spent $163.33. So my envelope total was $499.33, leaving me $533.17 to bring up to my sinking funds. Now, while I am working on paying off my my Saver One card, I put most of my sinking funds on hold. Well, things like my holidays and my vacation fund and my registration for my card, things like that are all on hold until that card is paid off, because I really wanted to focus on paying that card off before the interest hits. But there were just a couple that I kept putting aside because they were less than $2, and I just figured I'd just keep paying them. So every month I give myself $20 for stuff I forgot to budget for. In theory, that is money that I carry around with me in cash in case something comes up, and I have $20 in cash for an emergency. This month is the very first month that I made it all the way through with that $20 to put into my piggy bank to save for the end of the year. It's the first time I've done that, because this is the first time that I actually didn't ever take that money out in cash, because as I've previously mentioned, I'm really bad with cash. So if I have cash in my wallet, I tend to spend it just because I'm just not good with cash. But I didn't ever take that cash out, so I still have that money. And I did take that cash out the other day, and it's in my piggy bank now, so I have that. I have $1.77 toward renewing my passport, $1.84 toward the app Find Me Gluten Free, because if you're not familiar with me, I have celiac, which means I have to be very strictly gluten free. And there's an app, if you also are gluten free, there's an app called Find Me Gluten Free that you can review or read other people's reviews of restaurants and find out if they are safe for you to eat. And I find that very helpful if I'm looking for a new place, especially if I'm traveling, for where I can eat safely. And then medical expenses, I was finishing up paying for a couple of procedures that I had done last year when I was in the process of being diagnosed with celiac. I did finally pay off those procedures this month. And so next month you'll see different medical expenses. But for now, those are done. So I had to put $80 into that fund. That is a sinking fund total of $103, which you can't see, $103.61, leaving me $418.56 to roll down to my savings. And then my savings, I do 2 savings. I have a 52-week savings challenge, which is a very standard savings challenge that you will see a lot of people do. It's where you save the week of the year. So on week 1, you're supposed to save $1. On week 52, you're supposed to save $2. I'm sorry, $52. So that's the way you do it. I get paid bi-weekly. So technically, I should save on the first paycheck of the year, I should save $3. And on the second paycheck of the year, I should save, what is that, 3 and 4. So I should save $7. And it works up. That would mean at the end of the year, when I have spent a lot of money, because I spend a lot of money, my love language is buying things for people. That is how I love buying things for people. At the end of the year, when money is really tight, I would have to put away $105. When I first started this budget last year, that was impossible. It probably would be possible now with sinking funds, but I've just gotten in the habit of doing it this way. So I decided to do it backwards and forwards, where I do the first week of the year and the last week of the year, which is $1 and $52, making it $53 out of my first paycheck. And then the second week of the year and the second to last week of the year, which is $53. Every single paycheck, it's $53. So that worked very well for my budget. And then I have a great nephew. My nephew Joe has a baby, Joe, and I save $1 a week for him. I'm saving his age. He's not yet $1. He's not yet a year old, but I save $1 a week. And I will do that this year and next year. And then once he's 2, I will start saving $2 a week. And then when he's 3, I'll start saving $3 a week. All of this is, of course, Lord willing. I hope that I am able to continue to do this. But for now, as long as I am able, I am doing this. He is going to be a big brother in October, November time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep this up with 2 of them, but we'll see. But for now, I'm saving $2 every paycheck, $1 a week for him. So that's a savings total of $55, leaving me $363.56 to roll into week 2. The rest of these weeks should go a little bit faster. Most of my bills are going to be on week 1. So let's go to week 2. Okay, week 2 went from $5.5 to $5.11. I rolled over that $363.56, and I had $2.64 of cash back. This cash back is going to be from my PayPal MasterCard. One somewhere in here, probably the next week, maybe the week after, you'll see it be like an extra $10 or so, and that is my Venmo credit card that hit once a month. The PayPal hits every single day, and I just cash it out once a week when I close out my budget. So I have those 2 cards. The way I do my credit cards is I pay them off every single Friday. So I keep a $0 balance on them, and then I just cash out the rewards from them. For those 2, they get cash rewards. For my other cards that do like credit balances, I just use them like as I buy stuff, or sometimes they just sit there. Some I have just money sitting there. That's a total income for the week of $366.20, and I had a couple of bills to pay. My Adobe Express is $10.81. That is how I make thumbnails and stuff for my videos. Aflac is a supplemental health plan. That is $37.57 a month. My Adobe Pro, this is the last month that I did it. I canceled it after this. It's $21.64. That is a PDF manipulator. YouTube Music, I canceled this month and I upgraded to YouTube Premium. So I did get a little bit of a discount on YouTube Premium because like it offset what was left of my my YouTube Music. So I only paid $11.32. So it was almost the same price, but a little bit more. That's a bill total of $81.34, leaving me $284.86 to come down to my envelopes. Again, these are the ones that I do every week. Dining out, I put $50. Groceries, I went over. Y'all, that's going to be a theme. And I don't know why groceries were so tough for me this month, but I feel like I went over in groceries almost every single week. $82.50. Fun money got $10. Ecclesial expenses, I only spent the $40. I didn't go out for dinner, for lunch afterwards. Gas, I pulled $11.89 out of my gas budget because I just didn't need it. I had filled my car and this is what I had left over. And then gifts and giving, I bought something extra and I put $60.33 in there. So I was anticipating $175 for this, but it ended up being $230.94. So that left me $53.92. Somehow, and I don't know how, I had an extra dollar in my category, in my actual in YNAB. Like I said, I actually track everything in YNAB and I reconcile my accounts, if not every day, every other day, to match what is actually in my checking account and actually on my card. So I know that this number is accurate. And it had $54.92. I tried. I could not figure out where I was off, but $54.92 is actually what I had to roll over. So we rolled that into week 3. Week 3 went from May the 12th through May the 18th, and I rolled over that $54.92. I did get my paycheck, which is, again, exactly as I anticipated it to be, $1643.43. Seth paid me for his car, the $450. Again, that is for his car payment and then also for his car insurance. And then I got $3.71 of cash back for my PayPal MasterCard. And you can see as I spend more money on groceries, I get more money back on my cash back because I use the PayPal card to pay for groceries mostly. That gave me an income total of $2,182.06 for this week. I had 3 bills to pay. My OneDrive is my Microsoft. I use that to pay for my Microsoft Office, which gets me, Office, which is Word and Excel and all that fun stuff, which I use all the time. I love that stuff. And then it also gets me extra storage on OneDrive. So I think I have like a terabyte or something of storage on OneDrive. And then what else do I get? Oh, in this category, I leave a couple of extra dollars for my Instant Ink. If you have an HP printer, you're probably familiar with that. It's where you don't buy ink cartridges. And if you stay below, I'm grandfathered into if you stay below a certain amount of pages that you print per week, you don't pay or per month, you don't pay anything at all. And they just ship you ink as you need it. If I go over 10 pages, or I think if I go over 15 pages a month, then I have to pay $1 and they'll give me an extra 15. So technically I can print 25 pages for $1 a month. And if I do that, even if I do that every single month in a year, I will have paid $12 for ink cartridges, which is way less than the price of ink. And after a year, you can request new ink cartridges anyway because they'll be a year old and they'll just send you new ones because yours will be old. It's way cheaper than buying ink if you don't print a lot. I do not know if it's cheaper than buying ink if you print a ton, because I don't print a ton, so I don't know if it would be beneficial for you. But for me, because I don't print a lot, it is very beneficial for me to be on this plan, especially since I'm grandfathered into the $0 plan. So it costs me nothing most months, and I can request ink if I need it. But I don't need it because I don't print. Planet Fitness is $27.11 a month. That is my gym membership. And then reimbursable was at 2 cents. I just covered that because it was annoying me that it was 2 cents off. Nathan, when he paid me back for something, forgot 2 cents. He gave me 2 cents in cash that I put in my piggy bank, but I just covered it out of this because I didn't like it being over by 2 cents. It was saying I was like, you're underfunded in this one category by 2 cents. So the way I do my reimbursable categories, like if I cover food or if I go buy groceries and Nathan has to pay me back for something, I put it into Splitwise, and then I mark that in my reimbursable category in YNAB, which if you don't follow me on YNAB or you're not familiar with YNAB, you won't understand, but that's just how I keep track of what I have spent on expenses that other people owe me for. So, and then when they pay me back, I put that money into that category. And he paid me back, but when he sent it back to me and electronically, he miscalculated, and so he just gave me the 2 cents in cash, and then I just covered this. So that's why that's just that tiny little amount there. The total for my bills was only $37.13 for this week, leaving me $2,144.93 to come down to my envelopes. I have my dining out for $50, my groceries stuck to $75 this week. Go Becky. $10 for fun money, $60 for ecclesial, $25 for self-care, $50 for gas, and another $69.67 for gifts and giving. I had a lot of birthdays, a lot of things come up this month. Gifts and giving, as I mentioned, this is my love language, and this is where I tend to spend a lot of money, and I am very, very, very excited to be paying off this card so I can get myself out of debt and get back, and I can increase this budget to where this category to where it needs to be. This is not an overspending. This is an under budgeting problem, and I know it is, but I'm really hopeful when I set up this budget that I can stick to it. I just sometimes I can. This month blew it out of the water. I spent $339.67 in this section, leaving me $1,805.26 to carry up to my sinking funds. I did end up there wasn't anything budgeted like expected, but I did end up putting an extra $11.01 into my medical fund to fully pay off one of my procedures. When I called them, they were like, what my monthly payment plan was this much shy of paying off completely what I owed. So I told them to just push through the full amount and pay it off so I didn't have another month. And that was the difference. So I just funded that $11.01. That left me $17.94.25 to pull down. And again, every paycheck week, I do those 2 savings challenges, $53 to my 52-week savings challenge and $2 to my baby Joe, for a total of $55, leaving me $1,739.25 to roll into week 4. Week 4, this is a 5-week month, y'all. We're getting there. Week 4 went from $519 to $525. I rolled over that $1739.25, and then cash back was $14.03. This is where the Venmo cash hit as well. So it was probably like $2 from PayPal and $12 from Venmo. I don't know without looking, but it was probably something like that. That gave me an income total of $1753.28 for this week. I had a couple of bills due. Audible, I pay this subscription every other month, but I budget $9.20 a month, and then they charge me every other month $18.40. SaverOne, I make a minimum monthly payment of $100, and then at the end of the month, I just take whatever I have left. I zero out my budget and make a big mass payment, whatever I have left to that card. So here's my $100 minimum payment. That's not my actual minimum payment. I think my actual minimum payment is like $30 or something stupid, but I pay $100. Mattress One is my mattress. That is, I pay $80 a month. My internet bill is $63.94, and I have a debt consolidation of $167. This is my last debt, my mattress. These are my last 2 debts after I pay off this card. So this consolidation, after I pay off this card, is going to be the next one to go. I am so excited to get rid of this one. It's my last one with any interest. Once this is gone, should be gone before this time next year, it should be gone. Stay tuned for next month's budget with me. We will have a plan in place. But this one will be gone. So $167. That is a bill total of $420.14, leaving me $1,333.14 to pull down to my envelopes. And then I just have my normal for $50 for dining out. Again, I went over in groceries, $108.73. And I think maybe it's because I'm being so good about dining out. Like, I really haven't been dining out very much. Maybe that's why I'm going so over in groceries. I don't know. I just know I've been going over in groceries. $10 to my fund money. My ecclesial expense is $56.49. So the way I anticipated doing my ecclesial expenses was to pull this whole $60 out in cash and put the $20 if I don't use it into my piggy bank that I've made. But I haven't been doing that because I've been trying to put every extra penny toward the Saver One card. So I've only been pulling out the 40 in cash and then using my card to pay for food and just putting whatever's left back into my budget so it can go toward my Saver One card. So that's why these numbers are weird sometimes. They used to just be a full either 60 or 40 because I would pull out the 60 or the 40, whatever I needed. But like if I knew for sure I wasn't going out to lunch, I wouldn't pull out the 40. But if I didn't know, I'd pull it all out and then I'd put the 20 in my savings. Or use it as my stuff I forgot to budget for if it was the first week. But whatever. Now I'm using my card, so I spent $16.49 to go out to lunch afterwards. I tell you that means I went to Chipotle because I know what Chipotle costs. But I went to Chipotle this week. But so $40 to my donation, $16.49 to my meal afterwards, and then the rest of it I just rolled back into my budget so that I could use it for my Saver One card. I spent $21.45 on household items. That is probably when I went to Costco and got paper plates, I am guessing. And then I did put $33.55 from that gas that I had budgeted last week back into my budget. So that's why that's negative, to cover some of my overspending here because I don't need it. My car, I don't drive very much. I work from home and my car gets very good gas mileage. I drive a Kia Soul. My church, where I go to church, isn't very far from here, so I don't drive very much at all. So I put that money back into my budget to cover my overspending. That gave me a total of $213.12 in this category, leaving me $1,120.02 to roll into week 5. I didn't have anything else to do, so that is my actual rollover. Week 5 was my final week, and it went from 5/26 to 6/1. And since this goes to 6/1, that means I paid all of my June 1st. I budgeted all of my June 1st categories again, and I paid all of my June 1st bills. So we had a rollover of $1,120.02. I received my second June paycheck, $1,673.43, and then I had $5.48 in cash back. A lot of cash back because I spent a lot of money on groceries. So that is a total income of $2,798.93. My bills that I paid, so my Cinemark subscription, this is a movie subscription that had been paused for quite a while, but it picked back up, and I'm going to let it go through the summer before I reevaluate and try to cancel it, because Nathan's kids will be here, and they might want to use it, and I might want to go see a movie with them. So that's $10.81 a month. For now, it might be going up. I got an email saying it was going up, but when they charged me, it came out at the old price. My water bill, I pay the water bill for the house. It's I normally budget $120, but it's not normally that much. So it was actually only $100.85. This is where I pay for Seth's car. $69.85 is like what's actually due. But because I overpay it every month, they only pulled out $95.90 from my account, and then I put it down here in extra budget, what I actually pay. I pay my mom's phone bill, $61.79. Rent went down. So Nathan has been working very hard. If you've been here for a while, you will know that in February, his mortgage went up a lot unexpectedly, and we talked about it, and he raised my rent from $400 a month to $600 a month to help offset what his mortgage went up, because his mortgage went up over $500 a month. He has been talking to the county, he's been talking to his mortgage company, and he got that lowered effective June 1st. So he lowered my rent back down to $500 and not $400. So now instead of $700 a month going forward, you'll see me budget $600 a month because, as I said, I budget the rent plus $100. So it was only $476.90 instead of $576.90 because I got $100 off. So my Best Buy to pay it off total was $98.45. It was supposed to be $102, but I canceled my Total Care, whatever that like subscription thing for all of the I can't even think, the warranties and stuff. I canceled that a couple of days before it was set to renew. So they gave me a couple of dollars credit. So $98.45, and that wiped clean that card. That card is at a $0 balance. Yeah. I paid my mom's car insurance again, $96.67. I paid my car insurance, which I forgot to include in my budget when I set it up, $241.85. And then when I pay Nathan's rent, we keep track of everything that I have paid for and he has paid for in the month in an app called Splitwise. And then why I owe him this instead of the full amount is because sometimes he owes me money. So he owed me $65.34. So I just used what I would have put into the rent and I covered what he owed me and I put it into the reimbursable. So that's how that works. So I covered the reimbursable, and that gave me a bill total for this week of $1,248.56. leaving me $1,550.37 to come down to my categories. I put $50 into dining out, $75 into groceries, stuck to it again, $10 into fun, only $40 into ecclesial, I did not go out for lunch, $25 into self-care, $50 into gas, and then again, because it's the beginning of a month, $50 into pet expenses, $100 into household because I knew I was going to have to buy extra stuff, $25 into budgeting, and $100 into gifts and giving, for a total of $525, leaving me $1,025.37 for my sinking funds. $20 to stuff I forgot to budget for, which I still haven't pulled out in cash because it worked so well last month not having it in cash that I am trying that again. Then my two little mini sinking funds, $1.77 and $1.84 to Passport and Find Me Gluten Free. I did not put anything into medical because those payment plans are done. I should not have anything come out this month. If I do, I'm going to have to call and find out why they're still charging me because those should be at $0. But then my contacts have been on hold. I wear daily contacts because I am very nearsighted. Like very, very, I think my prescription is like a negative 9.5. And I have these shipped to me. When I got my, once a year, I can get a set amount of prescription contacts for free when I get my annual eye exam. And I had those, so I had this on hold, but I just used my last pair. So this had to renew. I just got these actually the other day. So I had to start budgeting for this again this month. So that's $50 here. This gives me a total of $73.61 for my sinking funds. So that leaves me $951.76 to pull down. My extra debt. This is where I made the extra money towards. That's car, $173.95. And then I made an extra payment of $447.33 to my Saver One card. So that is how I got my card under $700, and we made it. That is an actual total for this category of $621.28, leaving me $330.48. And then I had my two saving categories, $53 to my 52-week savings challenge and $2 to my baby Joe for a $55 total, giving me $275.48 to roll into June. I wanted to roll $300 over, but I went a little over in other categories, so that is what I ended up rolling over. Normally, at the end of the month, I zero out a budget, but because this was off, because this last week of the year was a paycheck, last week of the month was a paycheck, I had to roll money over, or I wouldn't have had any money for the first week of June. If I didn't roll any money over, I wouldn't have had any money in week 1 of June. So I had to roll $300 over to cover the first week of June's expenses. So that is why I didn't zero out the budget. but I calculated what I needed for the first week of June, and then I put all the rest of it toward my Saver One card. Okay, that's how I did in my budgets. And I know this has been super, super long, but I want to quickly go over how this compared to last month. And then I promise I'll stop and I'll let y'all go. Okay, so like I mentioned, I had one of my April paychecks went into May. And I also had a little bit of rollover from April into May. And, hi, my puppy just came to sit by me. So, and then I also paid a lot of bills in May. I paid my rent twice. I paid the car payments twice. Like, I paid a lot of things twice. So you will see a large, like, inflow change from April to May. Because in April, I had an inflow of $3,850.87, which is my average. But then in May, it went to $5,948.43, which is an increase of $2,097.56. That is because there's an extra paycheck and a rollover of about $450 in here. So that is why. So for my home category, in April, I spent $860.48, and in May, I spent $2,144.81, and that is because I paid rent twice here. Giving, I spent $252.90 in April, and I spent $505.38 in May. For my fun category, I did much better. I spent $438.28 in April and only $262.28 in May. If you were here in April, April was a pretty tough month for me mentally. And so I spent a lot more money on fun just for myself, just for my own mental health. I spent more money on fun. This was an extremely unusual month for me. I don't normally spend that much money on fun money. Subscriptions, again, a couple of subscriptions. Well, the one renewed and the Audible is extra. It just is, subscriptions will be off every other month, but then $43.26 in April and $80.55 in May. Medical, $141.33 in April and $129.78 in May. They're very similar, only $11.55 off. Debt is also very similar, which it's only $228 off, which I don't know why. I think it's because I made the extra payment towards Seth's car in this month for April, because the way it didn't, I actually made it in April, but it didn't clear my account until May. So $1,238.51 went toward debt in April, and $1,466.58 went toward debt in May. Previously budgeted. This is when I use money out of my sinking funds. And it's not necessarily that I've used money out of a sinking fund. It's money, even if I budgeted it this week, if it comes out of a category that is a sinking fund category, like a self-care. So like if I put $25 into self-care this week and then I go buy myself flowers that cost $10, I still consider that a previously budgeted category because that is what that category is to me. It's a sinking fund category. So that's why previously budgeted isn't, I don't count that as extra income because it really is money that it probably came out of this week, honestly. So previously budgeted, in April I spent $8, and in May I spent $133.53. I'm gonna tell you, like a big chunk of this was a pedicure that I went and got with Jins. So like that was a pretty pricey pedicure, but it was 100% worth it. My mom's bills, I pay a bunch of her bills. I somehow paid more in April. Oh, that's because of the propane. I filled propane in April. $458.49 in April and $255.13 in May. And then my sinking funds, this is money that I ended up putting toward a savings of some sort, either a savings challenge or a sinking fund. This money is saved toward future spending. $411 in April and $694.91 in May. And then in May, I rolled over $275.48 into May. Into June. So that is accounting for all of my money. Super, super fast before I let you go, because I actually did this month and I haven't ever done this before. I compared what I budgeted to what I spent, and I can say that in giving, I was very over. very, very over. But in home, somehow I was under. Like, I anticipated spending almost $2,700 and I only spent $2,144.81. So I don't know what I thought I was going to spend. I don't know how that was under, but somehow I do. And my home, what I count for home are things that I consider essential. So this is my rent. This is my utility bills. This is probably rent. That's probably what that is. So rent, utility bills, grocery shopping. What else would that be? It's probably things like that. That's what the home category is. Giving is that giving category. Fun. This is my fun. This is my dining out. That's what those are. Those are fun. Subscriptions are my Adobe, my movie subscriptions, things like that. Medical is any of my payment plans for my medical that I'm paying for out of my actual money, not that are coming off of my HSA. I don't actually track my HSA spending in this budget because that money comes out of my paycheck pre-tax before it hits my account. So you don't even see that money in this budget. And so I don't track it in my spending here because it's not part of it's not part of my inflow. So I don't track it. I track it in YNAB, but I don't track it on this because it has nothing to do with my inflow. But I count my my gym membership in here and my like those payment plans that I had set up, and that's pretty much it. Oh, my Aflac. I do count my Aflac in here too because that is definitely a medical expense. So I count all of that toward here. My debt, this is obviously my Mattress Firm card, my Saver One card, my Seth's car, my debt consolidation loan. That's what those are. Previously budgeted, again, this is any of those categories that I consider to be, I don't ever anticipate spending anything in there, but this is going to be anything that is one of those categories, one of my sinking fund categories. Like, contacts, I don't think that's going to be more medical. But like my self-care or my vacation or my pet expense, not pet expenses, but like that's home. Pet expenses are home. But pet emergencies would be a sinking fund. So like if I had to take my pet to the vet or when they get their shots in a couple of months, those would be sinking funds. Those would be previously budgeted things when I get my car registered. And then my mom's bills. The reason I track this differently from giving is just for my own knowledge because it's not really even so I can keep track of what I'm spending on my mom. It's so I can keep track of what I'm spending on giving because I know that I spend a lot of money here and I want to know what I'm spending here versus what I'm spending on my mom. One of my main goals, one of the main reasons I wanted to get out of debt so badly was so I could pay bills for my mom. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that my parents helped me out so much. So much. My parents paid my car insurance way longer than they should have, into my 30s. My parents took out a loan for me that I've never mentioned that before. My parents took out a loan for me to help me at one point. They signed for it in their name and then gave me the money and then I paid it off. I had a card that, if you've been watching for a while, you know was one of my biggest expenses when I did my initial debt confession, was one of my biggest expenses, one of my highest debts, but it wasn't even in my name. It was in my dad's name because it was my dad's card, and my parents let me use that card because I didn't have any money and I didn't have enough credit to get a card. So I was paying that card off because it was my debt, but it was in my parents' name. My parents have helped me out so much, and I really, really wanted to be able to help take care of my mom. My mom has spent so much of her retirement money. What she should have had for retirement, she drew out and helped to support my sister, who was very sick, my sister's kids, who obviously lost their mom very young, and then myself, who has no excuse. I had no excuse. I just was really bad with money. So it left her, and especially when my dad passed away, it left her in very reduced circumstances when she shouldn't have been. So I wanted to help take care of her. And that was a main goal of mine. I do not want to stop this. I actually want to be able to do more of this. Ultimately, I would love to just be able to pay all of her bills. I'm not there. But maybe one day. But the reason I pulled this out is so I can track this number here. But I pulled this out so I can tell the difference. This is what I was able to save toward my sinking funds. I budgeted to put $337.22, and I actually put almost $700, so I'm very excited about that. And then I, again, to anticipated rolling over $300, only rolled over $275.48, but that's really close, so I'm very excited. Okay, that is how my May went. That was really long, and I'm really sorry, and if you made it to the end, you're amazing, and I love you, and thank you so much. Please, if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you're not, you should totally subscribe, y'all. You should really subscribe to this channel because we're so close to 1,000, like so close. And I want you to be a part of it, and there's going to be a giveaway at 1,000, and I definitely want you to be able to eligible to win that giveaway. Anyway, I'm going to go because this is super long and you don't need a rambly exit, but please do the things and have a fantastic weekend. I love you so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye.